Hello everyone, this is the second part of a multi-part series of videos made in order for you guys to understand China, its economic, political and trade relations with the world. So a lot of contributions are there. Chinese contributions have been a lot, especially not now, since very old ages. China has been an independent country. Also, we need to understand one more thing is India earned its independence, right? China did not earn its independence from anyone, it was always independent. So China was not properly ruled by anyone. But China, when we say we are looking at a large a large area, the definition of China over years has changed. Like just like definition of India has changed over years. So we cannot generalize it, but major part of China had always been independent right since the beginning. The British invasion and British taking over China, it was not like in India. So China has contributed if you look at historically. And one more thing we need to understand, trade wise, China was very strong right from the beginning. India was also very strong with trade because even Harappa, Mohenjo-daro civilizations, there is traces of ships. There are harbors in Gujarat, Lothal, which have been excavated. Ships used to go to Mesopotamia, Egypt, Iran. Indian goods used to get exported. But China also was very forward in trade. So, in fact, if you go to very olden times like Mahabharata, even Mahabharata epic describes China. So, probably they had some alliance with China. So, in fact, the word China, it was not China those days. The word China was coming from Sanskrit. In fact, till the last 400 years or so, no one was using the word China. There was no word called China at all since the last 400 years. This China word was coming as China. In Mahabharata it also comes in Manusmriti, this old Hindu textbook called Manusmriti. It's a legal book. So both in Manusmriti and Mahabharata the word China comes. So we somehow that got adopted into the British English language. Later it became China around 300-400 years ago. Until then we did not know. There was no word called China. So India had relationships and China was quite advanced in trade as well. If you look at this picture, this is called the ancient Silk Road, or right now we call it the Silk Route. So what used to happen was anything from China, if it has to reach Europe, correct? Earlier they had to go through sea and they had to circle India and go to Africa, and from Africa then they had to take sea routes to Iran, from Iran again camels or something towards Europe. It was a very tedious process of exporting or importing anything to and from China because India is well connected. China, if you see, is pretty much landlocked. Very few areas of China actually have a sea. So trading used to be difficult, but the Chinese, not today, right around 2200, 2300 years ago, they had laid out the Silk Road. If you see the Silk Road, the route is going, it is bypassing India completely. Do you see? It's totally bypassing India. It's going from deep from China. It is starting. It's directly crossing. It is not even touching India. Directly, it is hitting Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. From there, they have entry into Afghanistan, Pakistan. From there, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Greece, Italy. So only the last section of the this thing you see, right? The blue colored thing. Only that was the sea voyage to reach Italy or England, correct? So any part of Europe. So if you see, the first beginning is all in the horses. So goods were transported from by horses up to Afghanistan, right? From there the camels are taking it over, and camels still almost Turkey because they can survive those kind of climates. From there it's a small sea route circling Greece into Italy. This whole road or is called the Silk Route, and Chinese having access to Silk Route, not now but since 2200 years ago itself, they had laid out this Silk Route so that they can by road ship goods into Europe. In fact, now recently they even have laid a railway track now, right from Beijing to UK. There is a railway track right now, and recently there were news about inaugurating it and the first train actually taking off. So yeah, so Silk Route was the key for trading between China and other countries, especially the Europe. But this was the older things. I mean, these are all 2000, 2200 years ago, which were coinciding with our Maurya dynasty. Chandragupta Maurya, Chanakya. India was also doing very well around 2200 years ago because this was post Ashoka. So roughly around Ashoka's time, before Ashoka, around Ashoka, India was also doing quite well financially, economically. China independently was also doing quite well. But later, over many hundreds of years, just like India, in India also, why did foreign invasion start? Because Indians started splitting themselves into smaller kingdoms and started fighting among themselves. So that gave an opportunity first for the Mughals to invade, then for the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and the British. So everyone started invading. The problem was we were fighting among ourselves. Same story goes with China. China was also fighting a lot among itself, but no one came and invaded China. But they themselves fought, and uh, China was getting split into smaller and smaller kingdoms. It went on. This battle went on for almost 2000 years. That new kingdom will come, fight the old kingdom, take over China again, something. And they used to keep annexing new lands into China, leaving out few lands. Things used to continue like that. All this continued almost till 1900s, when in 1900s, just like Chandragupta Maurya had unified India, Ashoka had unified India, but again it got split into smaller kingdoms, fighting. Then all the invasions happened. China also, but again it got unified only around 100 years ago. If you know this person on the screen, Mao Zedong, so he was the one who started the Communist Party of China and properly unified China around 1940s, 1949 technically. 1949 he unified China again, just like we unified India in 1947, right? After British left. So China also unified itself under the leadership of Mao Zedong. I am sure you have heard about Mao, right? In India we use the word Maoist. I'm sure you would have heard in newspapers or any news items that Maoist, and we generally depict as if Maoists are some terrorists somewhere in the northeastern states. That's how we depict in the news. Maoist is nothing but a person following Mao Zedong's philosophy. And what was Mao Zedong's philosophy? It was a communist philosophy. And what is this communism? Communism is all about everyone being equal. On paper, it looks good, but it's very difficult to implement. So imagine this: the true meaning of communism is all of you are coming from different backgrounds, correct? Ethnically different backgrounds, different language backgrounds, different parenting, different financial backgrounds, correct? Now if I ask you that everyone should be equal, so let us do one thing. Doesn't matter whether your parents have worked hard or not worked hard, doesn't matter whether you worked hard or not worked hard. Let us contribute all our money into a basket, and then so rich people will contribute all their money, lot of money. Poor people will contribute hardly any money. Let us put all the money into a basket and now split it equally, and everyone take it back. How many of you will be ready for that? Are you understanding the implications of communism? That's what communism is. So if you ask Ambani, you put your 50,000 crores into the basket, I'll put my 1,000 rupees in the basket because that's what I have. Then we'll split half. So you get 25,000 crores and I get 25,000 crores. Why will bloody Ambani listen to this kind of a proposal? Because he has worked hard to get there. We did not work so hard to get there. That's why we have 1,000 rupees and he has 1,000 crore rupees. And you're asking him to put in the basket and then split half. Why will he do that? That's the implication of communism. But yeah, sometimes it feels good, correct, saying that there should not be disparity in the economy. But research proves that if you really do that, take all the world's wealth, put it into a basket, divide equally among 7 billion people, give it back to them. Take all the world's land, divide it into 7 billion, equal amount of land to each person. Statistical research proves that within 4 years to 7 years, things will back to normal. Which means again Ambani will be rich and we will be poor. There will be no difference. So it is only one reset button right now. But again, whoever works hard will get there. Whoever doesn't work hard will again become poor. That is the word. So Chinese culture or government since the last 60, 70 years, 80 years has been very, very communist. Yes. Someone has mentioned that China has taken over Tibet. Yes. And also someone is asking Maoists are Chinese or Indians. It need not be Chinese or Indians, it can be Americans also. Basically, Maoist is a person who follows Mao Zedong's philosophy of communism. Is termed as a Maoist. But the word Maoist is used majorly in India and China only, nowhere else it is used. In China, Maoist is not like a terrorist. They are proud to be Maoists. In India, when someone says Maoist, we look down upon them because India is not a communist country. India is not a communist country. Yeah, China, someone is asking, Jack Ma is the richest in China. Jack Ma, by the way, if you know or don't know, Alibaba.com. In India, the website is not there. There's a sub website called AliExpress. Even that is not there in India, but illegally some people try to import goods through Alibaba. Alibaba is like Flipkart or Snapdeal or Amazon. You can order things, but the thing is, whatever you order, it comes from China, and sometimes it gets stuck in customs. I remember one of my friends had ordered from Alibaba, AliExpress. You get those big headphones, right, which you listen to music. The headphones have a cover, right, to shield your ear, cloth cover or something. That got torn, so he ordered from AliExpress, and AliExpress was shipping minimum 6 pairs. He just needed one pair of cloths to cover the coverings for the headphones, but he had to order minimum 6 pairs. So he ordered 6 pairs. He thought, and 6 pairs was costing him hardly 70-80 rupees. So he thought, okay, why not? So he ordered 6 pairs, and it got stuck in customs in Chennai port. And from Chennai, customs officers are calling him saying that this is an illegal import. You have to pay customs duty of some 1,000 rupees and take it. And he said, bloody, for 1,000 rupees, no need. Instead, I can just buy it in India. So yeah, why is Jack Ma the richest? Because even though Chinese government is communist, what do you mean by communist? Understand? Communist means everyone should be equal. That is one. But in reality, is that what China is? No. In China also there are differentiations. All people are one, but all political people are different segment. They are not equal to the normal people. That's how it is. So even China is capitalistic to an extent, which means it wants to make money. Even China is capitalistic. They use communist fundas only to oppress people and keep people in control so that people don't become too powerful. But the select few, they let them become powerful because they want money. They want capitalism, they want as much money as possible. So China is a little bit skewed right now between communism and capitalism. If you look at India, we do not have communism, very less communism in India. Still, a little bit is there. For example, our income tax, if you see, up to 2.5 lakh rupees of income in India, you don't have to pay tax. Which means what? Poor people don't pay tax. Only rich people pay a lot of tax. What does this mean? This basically means you want to equalize poor and rich. Na? You want poor people to not pay tax because they are poor. You want rich people to pay a lot of tax so that they will become poor by paying a lot of tax. So in a way, India is also slightly communist, but not like China. India is still a democratic country. China fakes that there is a democracy, but there is no democracy. It's a single party. In China, there is no BJP Congress. Two parties are not there. China is run by a single party, so that shows that it is a communist country. So Mao unified it in 1949 into today what we call as PRC, that is People Republic of China is what we call it today. So guys, that is part 2 of the series. The part 3 is on its way. See you guys. Bye.